Alright, so I'm just going to go through my editing process, basically from start to finish. I'll get to see what I edit. So this is my camera, it's connected, just USB. All my photos on it. This is where I sort of start to decide what I want. Obviously there's a lot in here that I'm just not going to use, so I can see if it doesn't look interesting on a thumbnail, chances are it's not going to be that interesting. So we'll call this buggy, spelled incorrectly. Import, shouldn't take too long. Wow, I need to close some of this stuff. Okay, don't have it open. New desktop, library. Tab to bring up the side panels. Could have just double clicked that too, but I'm lazy. Okay. Spacebar. So which one do I like? Well, that one's more in focus, but that one's framed better. So it looks like when it's loaded. Let me go with that one and just crop it down. So if you hit R, that brings up crop. I'll just, wow, this is laggy. Holy cow. I'm not sure why. So, okay, not too bad of a crop. A lot of chromatic aberrations, so I'm just going to try this. Super high contrast, just for kicks and giggles. What happens when I do this? Yeah, no. See, but that's what you gotta do with this kind of stuff. You just play around and mess with it, and sometimes you find something cool, and sometimes it just looks terrible. Backslash brings up the other brush. Look down here. Swapping between sizes, it's very useful. I'm like, oh, I want a bigger brush, da da da. That smaller brush, da da da. Better like that. So like that. Bigger brush. So right now I'm just whitening up the edges. This is all white. And so it just helps clean things up a bit. Put down on that. I like that. And play around with the tone curve a bit. Let's go over to that. Let's go red. So looking at this, well, you can't really tell because it's a black and white photo, but the shadows, I'll drop some of that out. So it's gonna add some blue in. Not sure what looks green because, you know, so I just blue, but adding something in green. So maybe just tint it a little bit cooler in the shadows, a little bit warmer. Go with blue. Want that. Bring that down to green. I just do that. I'm not gonna do that. Drag it off to the side. Okay. So it just adds a little color. Use all what I did there. Take out some reds, add some reds. Blues, opposite. Cooler for shadows, warmer for highlights. Generally looks good. There's some noise reduction to be done. It's not that bad though, so I would probably just leave it as it is. I don't want any lens correction, or do I? Actually, don't like that. Turns out as that. So that's the edit for that. Not much to it. So I'll backtrack a bit and go through the settings. So up here, so 70 millimeters. That's sort of a lie because what I had my macro setup, so it's 70 millimeter, and then you have I had an 18 to 55 backwards taped to the end of the lens. So you're basically zooming in on the backwards picture of another lens, if that makes any sense. So if you look through a binocular the wrong way, you see the image. Or actually, I mean, if you look through a binocular the other way, you see an image. But you're basically zooming in on that. It would be looking through a binocular. The opposite way. You're zooming in on that image with a 70 millimeter. So, don't know if that makes sense. There might be something online that explains it better, but it's kind of something you have to do. Either you get it when you hear it, or you just do it. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. So, I have a couple other posts on this, so you can look it up. They're dispersed throughout the year. I have 4 or 5, I think, so they shouldn't be too hard to find. 1/60th of a second, that's pretty arbitrary. I was using a strobe at 1/8 power to freeze this, so as long as it wasn't over 200th, didn't make any difference really, down to like 1 second or half a second maybe. The ambient light wasn't that bright. I was just using an iPhone so that I would have enough light to compose the shot. F4, that's just the lowest f-stop you can go on this lens. And ISO 200, because you can only go to f4. I wanted a little bit more out of it. I could have just upped the power on the strobe, but ISO 200, that works. Save power on the strobe. 100 and 200 is barely noticeable difference. And you get an extra stop of light. So with this, it worked just fine. Not sure what else to talk about. As far as focal planes, with this, there's such a shallow depth, you really have to be precise. It's almost a guessing game. So with this, the eye's in focus, and generally with people, one of the reasons I chose that one over this one is because in this, the focal plane is a little bit farther down, and people generally look at the head of whatever it is. So this one, the head was in focus, so it's going to be a more pleasing image. So if I what would be the plural of that? Of synchronize, I guess is the proper way to do that. So if I did that, well, it would be up anyway because of this. It just doesn't. It doesn't pop out as much. You can kind of see this one. It still looks really good, but it doesn't have that something that makes this nice. I would have liked to have the whole body in, but unfortunately, can't do that with this photo. Yeah, I don't want any of this blocked in, so you will. That's that.